It's a Football Friday with Fred. He joins us now. Fred White can handle all of your insurance needs there in the state of Georgia. Allstate, you're in good hands with Fred White. Fred, how do people get a hold of you, sir?
They can actually look us up online at fredwhiteallstate.com. They can also give us a phone call right here in the office at 770-381-0367. Give us an opportunity to show you that you're in good hands.
Yep, and you absolutely will be. Let's start it off with a question on our message board already. Travis said, Fred, you think LSU took a ranked Tennessee at home nationally televised game lightly, or did Tennessee just dog walk them because they were inferior? I think he's referring to a comment that I made that when that was a noon game and LSU practices in the afternoon, Tennessee practices in the morning. When I heard that was a noon game, I was like, Tennessee's winning this game, no question.
Oh, you said we were winning
I thought
because we're
Tennessee.
no game?
Yeah, when it was announced that the LSU Tennessee game was noon, which was 11 Central, I thought
Hmm.
I thought that was the safest bet that week in America that Tennessee would win that game.
I thought it was a trap game.
Did you?
You go back and you look at the history of Tennessee playing games that are 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, and I'll tell you how many times we've won. We Not many. We usually lose those games. Those are the games that always catch us and trap us. 1999, we played against Arkansas in Arkansas. Noon game, Central Time, 11 o'clock in the morning, our time, we got beat. And that is the game. I hated playing early games. Even if you practice in the morning, it's just something about playing a football game at 11 in the morning. That's different.
No, I agree, but you always practice in the afternoons. So
True.
Tennessee practices in the morning. I mean, those guys. We talked to Cooper and Jacob. Those guys are up and at them at like 6, 7 a.m. and in bed by
Mhm.
9 or 10.
I mean,
I,
we were up at 6 or 7 in the morning too, though.
That's true.
I mean, working out. We weren't practicing, but we worked out early morning.
Well, that's a fair point. LSU, though, their fans were super hungover. I think we can all agree on that.
They were hung over more because we whooped their butt. I'm gonna give credit to what credit is due, and I'm giving credit to Johnson and offense. I don't think they took us lightly. They just didn't realize what type of offense we were running. And LSU plays 12 o'clock games every year, all the time. They play Arkansas at 12 noon. They play a few games at 12 noon. They just didn't. They didn't realize what hit them so fast. And I applaud Josh for throwing the kitchen sink at them early.
Hmm,
Defensively, we got a turnover on kickoff on special teams. That started it off. It got rolling right away. And you know yourself, if you give us enough chances to score, we're going to score.
very true. Go ahead and click that thumbs up button, the like button, so we can bring more people in. We haven't talked to you since the orange and white game. It's pretty short, but what were your impressions? Anybody stand out? What did you think of Tennessee's final air quotes practice of spring camp?
You know, I don't take as much from the spring game as I do going to watch a regular practice.
Hmm.
Because spring game, some of the guys may not play. They may not play a lot. You got guys mixed in and mingled in that may not never even be on the football field together, period. But what you get a chance to see in going to watch a regular practice and they scrimmage is ones against ones, twos against twos, those type of things. And ones against twos, it's a different beast going to watch practice than it is just going to watch the spring game. But I did have my eye on two guys in particular,
Okay.
two freshmen. Um, I can't think of the kid's name right now. My mind just went blank from Virginia. The freshman from Virginia, 6'2" kid. I wanted to see what he was going to do. I watched him in practice, and he was amazing. Selden, I want to say his name is.
Oh, Cam
Oh,
Seldon, yeah, tailback.
Um, and then I also watched the kid from Knoxville, man, Bishop. I,
Yeah,
I just wanted to see what those two guys can do. No offense to the running backs we already have. I think we have some really good guys. I like Small. I also like Wright. I think Wright is a really good football player. Got speed, but there's something about a 6'2" running back in your backfield when everyone else is 5'11". You know,
that's
and he
true.
can also run. It makes a difference with the offense that we have. I think he can keep the chains going, and if we can have that one guy who can make those big plays, it changes the entire football game for us on offense.
If you have a question for Fred, post it on the message board or on our Twitter account, and we'll get it right to him. Think about Deshaun Bishop. He's from Carnes, which is right next to Powell. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that Bishop, as of November, was going against a bunch of dudes who ran like a 5'8" 40 that were 148 pounds. That transition in 3-4 months to go to spring camp in the SEC, just to even keep your head above water is saying something.
Dave, let me say this to you. There's talent in Knoxville. There's a lot of it. Some of it has to go somewhere else every now and then. It gets overlooked. And one of those kids that I remember going to watch was Alcoa, Cobb.
Oh, yeah, Randall Cobb.
I went to Knoxville just to go to a high school football game. I went to a Carnes high school football game just to watch Bishop this past year. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, yeah, he's an SEC football player. He's the best football player on the field. And not just myself, a couple of my other teammates went to go see him too against different talent. And you could tell. Some guys just have it. Wow. He's one of them.
Pretty strong. Caleb is going to jump in here. I'm going to go ahead and go on record that I think, and we want to get your thoughts from some other practices you went to. I'm going to go on record. Dylan Sampson will be the breakout star of this upcoming season.
Dylan
Sampson, running back, brings a little bit more speed, but you really like Cam Selden, so maybe I'm off base there.
No, but I came to watch those two. I know what Dylan Sampson brings. I watched him last year, even though he was injured a little bit during the year, trying to get back to. He's the one kid that we look at and see. I see a mix of, well, I hate comparing guys, but he puts me in the mold of a Alvin Kamara. He has the speed, he has the moves, and catch the ball out of the backfield, all those type of things. I see him right small. But then I'm watching these two freshman running backs. It's a crowded room right now.
Oh, it is. And I thought that Selden, maybe they were just putting him there to take up snaps in spring, like Kirsten Biggers and stuff. No, that wasn't the case.
That's not the case.
Before we get to Caleb, Mr.
Hold on. I gotta put some respect on Kirsten Biggers' name, and that's my roommate from. He was my roommate for a year. Well, I'm not doing him like that. No,
but he wasn't an SEC back.
Hey man, I got much love and respect for Kirsten Biggers. He was my roommate for a while.
All right.
I can't do him like that.
So can I throw Michael Brewster under the bus?
yeah. I don't know what that is.
He was the next Kirsten Biggers a few years after you were gone. He was the spring star, and then he was gone. All right, let's get to Caleb. First of all, though, Mr. Jones said, is Fred related to Reggie White or Danny White, Tennessee's athletic director?
Neither.
Especially not Danny.
I actually like Danny. Danny's doing a good job, man. I'm proud of what he's doing. I think Danny's doing a good job with what he's doing with the stadium. I think Danny he understands the one thing that you need. And a lot of people, I don't think they get it at the moment. You're going to need a lot of money. A lot. Because the NIL situation, it's just scratching the surface. It's not even, this is going to be college football free agency. If you understand what I'm saying. This is what this is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. That's what this is going to be. So in order to be able to get there, you need to generate as much money as possible. And the guys who have the most money, in my opinion, are going to be the guys who are going to win the games and win championships at every level.
Agreed.
Fred, before I jump into talking a little spring, I just first have to ask you, because we were talking about it earlier. You're in Atlanta. Dave's thinking about going to the Hawks Celtics game 3 tonight. My question is,
can you hook me up on that, by the way, Fred?
No, not that.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out. I didn't get the phone call.
No, my question to you, to troll Atlanta sports fans, will there be more Hawks fans or Celtics fans there tonight?
Hey. Dave.
I'm a Celtics.
I'm going to have to have a real sit down with Caleb when I see him. He comes in just throwing haymakers every time. I mean, goodness, if I didn't know how to duck or bob or weave, I might not be on the screen.
Because he hadn't met you in person.
I'm a Grizzly fan. We've taken our own licks this year because John Moran has been acting so stupid all year. But
I'm a Hawks fan all the way. You know it, and that's man. We don't have it this year. Do we have the talent? Absolutely, we have talent, but I think that we let a really good coach. We've let two really good coaches leave.
Yeah.
Budenhauser done won 2 championships now. You let that guy get out of the city. Well, he did. He was drinking and driving on those streets of Atlanta. It was probably time to go.
No, no one here has ever done that.
But Terry McMillan, I thought he was going to be a good fit, and it just didn't work out. Sometimes your star player and your coach don't get along, and all of a sudden it's gone. Um, I think he did a really good job when he first came. They made a few changes, and you thought it would be good for the team, but I think we kept the wrong guy when it comes to athletes on the Werder should never left Atlanta.
Fair enough. I'm gonna start breaking down Jason Tatum's game here in a second. No, I'm not. All
Uh,
right, Caleb, bring us back to the Vols.
So speaking of spring ball, a lot of the talk was, and I know you've been to a few practices, a lot of our talk was about who steps in at cornerback because I think Tennessee desperately needs somebody to fill the void. Did you see anything from Jordan Matthews or Ricky Travis or any of the newcomers in the defensive backfield this during the spring?
I watched my DBs, and I watched them more during the spring practices, and I saw some good things. We got some good receivers out there too. I mean, you got some guys that can go get it. These young guys can run. They're fast. They got good hands. Um, I got to see more. I got to see more. I didn't get a chance to evaluate the guys who transferred in as much because I only got a chance to watch 2 practices. And I kind of spread it out between because I want to see those freshman running backs and I want to see those freshmen that came in early, those type of things. Um, but when I come back in the summer, I get a chance to watch some 7-on-7 DB drills, those type of things, and it gives you an idea of what you have. Watching just regular drills against no one shows you a lot about a DB. Work ethic, technique. Does he stay high? Can he come out of his breaks? You can tell from that point whether or not they're going to be good football players or not. Um, but I'm waiting to see what happens this summer and just kind of looking. I'm looking forward to the summer workouts and going to be able to see them do that. I
Yeah,
have a better assessment then.
yeah, and I think for a lot of those that may not know, you talk about the 7-on-7s. I think the summer can be as big for linebackers, defensive backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks as spring can. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of growing left to do. We had a question about receiver Nathan Leacock, and also you mentioned the receivers are really good. So
Yeah.
you kind of address him, and then Dante Thornton would be one, and then Squirrel White would be the other, who are probably going to be competing for that slot position. Just give me your thoughts on them and the receivers as you saw them.
Well, I think we got fast. I mean, we lose some speed and we still have some speed, and we gained a few. And one guy has a few more inches on the others. The kid Dante from Oregon, I think he's going to be a good add. For one, he can run good routes. He's been in the game before. And he's already been on a big stage. He understands what it's like to be a college football player. Now, he's never had opportunity to play against SEC talent except for playing against Georgia, but that's what it's like every week. And to see him excited about the fans coming out for spring game lets you know that he hasn't seen what it's like yet. And when he's lighting up that scoreboard, it's going to be a different story. I think this kid's going to come in and do some big things for us because he can stretch the defense, whether he's on the outside or whether he's in the slot. If he's in the slot, he's an automatic mismatch because of size and speed. I think he's going to be good for us there. Keaton, I like the fact that he's a kid that can catch the ball. He runs the right routes, runs really good routes, catches the ball with his hands. He puts me in the mind of the kid that plays for maybe not as fast as him, but the kid that plays for the Eagles right now from Alabama, Smith. He
Mhm.
always comes back to the ball. That's something that a lot of receivers don't understand. But if you're a guy who's just more has to rely more on your route running, you have to do every little thing right. And I see him do those things for us coming back to the ball. That's going to be something that helps for us possessions and those type of things. Um, we haven't even talked about Brew McCoy,
No.
and he's not even healthy right now. That's another receiver that's going to give us something else. I think This is his breakout year, if you ask me. Um, Lee Cobb, I think he's going to work his way in, but I don't. With the portal and the things that are going on and the receivers you already have on your team, I don't put a lot of stock in freshmen.
Well,
I don't. Not at the receiver position, not at the quarterback position. Running back is usually the only position where a freshman comes in and just lights it up. I
yeah,
haven't seen anything other than that. I haven't seen a receiver go for 1,000 yards as a freshman. I just haven't. The game is different. You got to understand the game different. You got to understand how to read routes, understand how to read defenses, and how to come out of your breaks and where you fit in the offense. You got a kid like Squirrel White also that's sitting there who's already done some things for you, and I think this is a breakout year for him as well. Him in that slot changes things as well. Different speed. You can do a lot of different things with him, sweeps, reverses. It makes our offense that much more potent.
good stuff. Fred's appearance brought to you in part by AndyMasonRealEstate.com. AndyMasonRealEstate.com. When you're looking for a realtor, Andy's your guy. Over 40 years of experience in his office. AndyMasonRealEstate.com. I've known Andy for a long, long time, 30 years or so. So you can trust Andy. And if you go with another realtor, it could cost you thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. He'll find you the right home. And here are his two business tenets. It's pretty simple. Best prices, best service. That's pretty easy, kid.
Fred, I wanted to, before we'll get back to Tennessee, but there's something that made me think of you this week, and it's what you told me a couple of weeks ago when you had kind of educated me a lot about the things Ryan Leaf went through in San Diego. And I don't know if you saw Bill Polian just straight lied on Ryan Leaf this week, where he said that Ryan Leaf, the reason they took Peyton was because Ryan Leaf told him that he was going to go party in Vegas after being drafted at the meeting. Well, the whole story up till now was he was never at the meeting to begin with. So, and Ryan Leaf called him out on that. What were your thoughts? I don't know if you saw that Bill Polian lied on him like that.
I think a lot of people have their own narratives on Ryan without knowing all the facts. And sometimes people just make up stories. And in this case, I'm glad he called him out. Good for Ryan, because you don't get hooked on pain pills in the NFL without someone giving them to you.
True. That's
Did
true.
he go find him and buy him himself? I don't think so. He got them from the staff.
Yeah, and the thing about the Polian thing that is bizarre to me, I mean, he had a great career, but about 3 or 4 years ago, he said there was no question that they were taking Peyton Manning over Ryan Leaf, which isn't true because they had a Ryan Leaf jersey printed up. There was still question the week leading up to the draft. And the other thing that he said that I'm curious with your eye, he said that at the time they thought Peyton's arm was every bit as strong as Ryan Leaf.
No.
That's exactly what I thought. He said that about 3 years ago.
I love Peyton to death, and Peyton's arm is not as strong as Ryan Leaf's. No. Not on Peyton's best day was his arm stronger than Ryan Leaf's. Not even close.
I think
Not
Peyton
even close.
would admit that.
Peyton knew where to put the ball, knew when to throw it. He knew how to throw the ball early and those type of things. Ryan Leaf could throw a ball through a wall. Seriously, he had a cannon.
Yeah, no,
I watched it in practice. I watched it go over my head a few times too. So trust me, I've seen them both. I've watched Peyton's go over my head, and I've watched Ryan's go over my head. And I'm telling you right now, Ryan Leaf had a strong arm.
No, Polian has had such a great career. I don't know why he goes revisionist history, and I think it kind of hurts his credibility a little bit. Anything else that stood out to you as far as you were at spring camp a lot? Not necessarily the spring game, as you mentioned, you don't see nearly as much, but anything else that stood out? Any other players?
I can't wait to see this kid play this year. I just need him to get through the summer, get some football season. Kid's number is 27, and you know who I'm talking about.
Well, you
James, what is his last name?
Oh, Pierce?
Man, let me tell you something.
Yeah, so I hear the same thing. He's got to get through the summer. He's got to get through the summer.
Just get through the summer, kid. get through the summer, kid. Get through the summer. and get to football season where you just taking care of business. Listen, man, that kid can go. He is. You know how you talk about kids and talent, and you'll tell a kid that, man, you're a ticket. You have all the tools to get it done on the football field. You have the golden ticket. Just get him to football season. Somebody bubble wrap that kid and walk around. Hey, if you see him on campus, guys, make sure you just walk with him, corral him. Make sure if you see him anywhere in the city, make sure he's going in the right direction. Okay?
Yeah,
We need this kid on the football field. This guy can play.
I think he's already been assigned a guardian, a mentor, from what I'm
Please.
told. And Tennessee hasn't had. He needs to get through the summer. I just want to put it like that. And
he's one of those kids that don't come around every. That type of talent, that type of ability, if channeled in the right way, he's one of those kids that you're gonna see on Sunday, and he's gonna play for a long time. But he hasn't played much at Tennessee yet, and that's a lot to say about someone. But what I've seen so far, yeah, he has it. That kid has it.
I will share this story of a conversation I had with Lane Kiffin. And I said, Ed Orgeron seems like a guy that goes 110% all the time. Do you ever worry about him getting burned out? And Lane's response was, no, he's better when he's busy.
Yeah.
He needs to keep his hands busy.
He does not need to get bored.
We learned that now too. The minute Ed Orgeron has something to do, he might get in some trouble.
Yeah. You need to make sure he has a lot on his plate. A lot.
He might show up to Marlon Wallace's grandmother's house with a couple of pops in him. Who knows? Anyway, might be asked to leave, and then that recruitment's over.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm just throwing it out there as maybe.
He might come back with the golden goose. He might come back with an egg on his face.
He might scare the goose, the gander, and everybody in the goose's family away. That's what happened.